Hi, welcome to Decode Duchenne. We'd like to take a few minutes to walk you through our website in a little more detail. First, we'll show how to register a patient, then how to collect samples, and then other helpful tools for you and your patients. Obviously, the first thing you'll need to do is get to our website. If you follow the cursor, you can see today I've typed in www.duchenneconnect.org/decode. That'll get you to the main testing page for Decode Duchenne testing. Another option is to just type in duchenneconnect.org. If I type that in, that will get us to another web page of Duchenne Connect, which is home to our patient registry and lots of other information. But part of that information is a place where you can click for Decode. So if I click there, it'll also get us back to the main page for Decode Duchenne. If you are a provider, the first thing you'll probably want to do is look at the information regarding application and eligibility. If we click on application and eligibility, it will bring us to another page of information. The top of this page has three areas of considerations for who we can offer testing to. The first checkmark area here, does your patient have a confirmed or suspected diagnosis of Duchenne or Becker muscular dystrophy? Secondly, does your patient have financial barriers to receiving genetic testing? And lastly, is your patient a citizen or legal resident of the U.S. or Canada? Please note at this time, we unfortunately cannot offer free testing to patients outside of the U.S. or Canada. Now let's move on into a little more detail on how to apply to our program. If you are a provider interested in applying for testing for your patient, please continue to the How to Apply section and move down here to the red Decode application area. If we click on that, it will take us directly to our online application form. As you can see, you fill out the provider information first with the pertinent information. If I scroll down a little bit, another thing you might need are specimen shipping kits. If you need specimen shipping kits, you can request them here. If you check here at this box, it will also ask you what kind of shipping kits you would like. Historically, our preferred sample is a blood sample, and that is still true today. However, another option that is currently available is to collect saliva on patients, and for some patients that's a nice option. So those are both available here on the online application form. If we scroll down a bit more, you will see participant information or patient information. If I scroll down a bit farther, there are two other areas of a bit more detailed information. The first is to confirm the primary financial reason for using Decode. As you can see, there are several options. One question we get a lot is, do we need any paperwork to support why a patient is seeking this testing? And the answer is no, we don't require any financial documentation. The second area of information is regarding the patient's current testing status. Have they had genetic testing for Duchenne or Becker muscular dystrophy previously, and what type was it? Once you've completed the online application, simply scroll all the way down and click Submit, and it will come directly to our emails. The genetic counselors and staff at Decode Duchenne will review the application and move on to the next step of the process as soon as possible. Before we move on, one side note I'd like to make, if you scroll to the very top, if you would prefer to have a paper copy of the application form, you can download or print a copy if you click here. I'm going to click there, and you can see you get a Word document where you fill out the same information for your patient, which then can be faxed to us. If you have any questions about the online or paper application, genetic counselors are always available via telephone or email. I'm going to go ahead and push the back arrow twice to get us back to the other page of more detailed information. I'd like to continue with the steps in the Decode testing process. Once the application has been reviewed and approved, one of the Decode Duchenne team members will send paperwork regarding the approval and a requisition for the testing for your patient. It is very important that the requisition be sent with the sample on the patient to the laboratory. Typically, at that point, the participant has blood drawn. That can be arranged in whatever way is more convenient for you and your patient. Please note that if you have a situation where blood is drawn on a patient before you receive paperwork and approval, it is okay to store the blood in a refrigerator for up to a week before sending to the laboratory. Finally, the provider will receive results and share them with the participant or patient. One question we get frequently is what testing is offered by Decode Duchenne and how long does the testing take? As you can see, the next area of information is regarding testing provided. Decode Duchenne currently works with a laboratory called EGL Genetics, formerly known as Emory Genetics. Initial testing is for deletions or duplications in the Duchenne gene. This testing is done by CGH array analysis. This testing typically takes 2 to 3 weeks to get results. If deletion and duplication testing is negative, the next step will be follow-up testing through sequencing of the Duchenne gene. Finally, if we go to the additional services area at the bottom of this page, you can also see another area where you can get specimen collection kits. This is a way you can go directly to the website and order kits if needed. If you click on that, you will see you simply send an email to our coordinator email for Decode Duchenne and Duchenne Connect with your name and address and how many kits you would like. Again, our preferred specimen for the laboratory is blood, but saliva kits are also available. If I go back to the other page of information, the second area here is a blood draw reimbursement area. If your patient is struggling with the cost of their blood draw, there is a form that can be filled out by clicking here to have that cost reimbursed. Again, it's a Word document that you can print out and then fax to us. Finally, genetic counselors are always available. We are happy to answer questions regarding any of the testing process, regarding testing and what it means for families. We are available by phone or by email. If we move to the very bottom of this page, you can see it'll get us back to some other areas where you can click. Again, you can click for a sample shipping kit. There's a whole area of frequently asked questions, or you can click to contact a genetic counselor at Decode Duchenne. I'm now going to go back one page to our main page of Decode Duchenne again. We've now reviewed the application and eligibility areas and lots of information within that area. Other places you can click straight from the Decode Duchenne page include resources for providers and families, another area that gets you to the FAQs, and another area to reach a counselor. I wanted to click on the resources area, and it'll show you lots of other information. Decode Duchenne and Duchenne Connect are part of Parent Project Muscular Dystrophy. As you can see, there's a lot of information here for social media, joining our patient registry, which we certainly encourage patients to do, learn more about what the registry is for. If you keep going down, again, it gets you back to the Decode program and different forms you might need. And finally, genetic counseling and educational resources and information on clinical trials. If we scroll down a bit more to the bottom of the page, you can see again we have clickable areas where you can get back to different pages of information. One area I'd like to highlight here is the mutation-specific therapies. If I click here, you can see it brings us to a page of information that is printable of mutation-specific therapies for Duchenne muscular dystrophy. This can be important for patients and providers. I'm going to click back one page and then another page to get back to the main Decode page again. In summary, another area I'd like to show is why it matters. If you click here on this gray box, it will bring you to another page of information just with the value of genetic testing in general. It's a nice summary of everything we provide at Decode Duchenne. Before we leave the Decode Duchenne pages, I would like to point out that Decode Duchenne is sponsored by two pharmaceuticals, Sarepta Therapeutics and PTC Therapeutics. Also, Decode Duchenne is part of Duchenne Connect and Parent Project Muscular Dystrophy, as I've mentioned before. If you go back one more page, we are back where we began at Duchenne Connect. All of this different information can be found through Duchenne Connect as well. We have a Find a Clinical Trial area where you can click and look for different clinical trials that might be amenable to your mutation. If we click on Find a Clinical Trial just briefly, you can see there are several different tools and different ways you can search for different clinical trials. This is a great place for both providers and for patients to seek more information regarding clinical trials. I'm going to click back again to the main Duchenne Connect page. If we scroll down to the next area, you will find the Duchenne deletion tool. If we click on the Duchenne deletion tool, it will take us to another page of information, which I'd like to review briefly. Within the deletion tool, you can see is a lot of information regarding specific deletions and therapies that might be amenable to them. If you scroll down, there is an area where you can enter your own information. So if you have a patient, or if you are a patient with a deletion, you can enter your specific exons and click Submit, and it will tell you which clinical trials or which medications might be available for you at this time. I'm going to close this window and go back to the main page. Once again, we're back to the main Duchenne Connect page. You can see if you keep going around the page, we have direct access to webinars sponsored through Duchenne Connect and PPMD. We also have an area with clinical trial news updates that you can click on to read about different news in the clinical trial area. We also have just news in general in our news flash area, and again, links to social media. I hope you have found this information useful. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the genetic counselors here at Duchenne Connect and Decode Duchenne. We certainly encourage providers to have their patients register with DuchenneConnect.org. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you'll find it useful to use DuchenneConnect.org and Decode Duchenne in the future with your patients. Thank you.